Well, week 5 predictions. Here we go. So, let's get into it with the Rams and the 49ers against the Rams. This game could be a good game. I think it might be, but I don't know. The 49ers, they are very beat up right now. Yes, Brock Purdy is back, but I don't know. I don't know what the 49ers... I think now that Brock Purdy's back, I think the 49ers are going to be a little bit better. But, no. I think the Rams should still win this game. The Rams are a good team. Rams are a great team, which actually, when I predicted the season before, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was the schedule the Rams had. I had the Rams going like 15-2. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But, like, I had the Rams, like, even beating the Eagles in record-wise, and so maybe they will. Maybe they are going to be that good. They had a close game with the Colts, in a game they should have lost, in my opinion. But, yeah, 49ers, they had a game that they almost came back and won, but Jaguars controlled that game because the Jaguars were a better team. I thought maybe, because we didn't see enough, I hadn't seen enough of the Jaguars for me to really say, hey, they are going to win this game. So I thought 49ers might sneak one out. But either way, Rams were going to win this game. 49ers, they're too beat up. And another season of injuries, it just isn't going to work. Rams win. Next game, the next international game, Vikings, who now have 2 international games this season, against the Browns. Instead of being in Dublin, they're in London. Yeah, this game shouldn't be much of a contest either. The Browns, I don't know. Like, the Browns, they're showing signs of being, like, their defense is good, but, like, it's just not. Like, the Browns, they're just not a good team. And that's just what we're seeing. There's rumors that Joe Flacco might get benched. I think that's the wrong move. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just they have a bad team. They have a great defense, but they just don't have a good team right now. And a good, complete team. The Vikings, they have a better, more of a complete team than the Browns do. Give me the Vikings to win. They lost in Ireland, but they'll win in London. Give me the Vikings. Texans, Ravens. 2 teams that are better than 1-3. They should not be 1-3 right now at all. Houston has just looked bad, except for last week. The Ravens, they're losing to good teams. Houston is not one of those good teams. Okay, Houston should be a good team, but they're not acting like a good team. The offense finally got moving against the Titans. Now, I didn't even predict that. So I'm honestly surprised they even shut out the Titans. But the Ravens, they're a better team. They're 1-3, yes, but this is going to be when they start to pick up momentum. The problem is their losses. Who have they lost to this year so far? Okay. They lost to the Bills. They blew that game. They're up by 15 with like 5 minutes left. They blew it. They beat the Browns very easily. Then they lost in a close game against the Lions. And then they got blown out by the Chiefs. This is not a good sign if you're Baltimore. The Ravens are supposed to compete for a Super Bowl, not lose to the good teams that are on their level. And if they're losing, and if they're blowing games and getting blown out by the Bills and Chiefs and losing in close games with the Lions, they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. They are a pretender. They will make the playoffs probably, but they're not going to go past the first round or maybe second round. I can see Pittsburgh winning the division the way they're playing. The Ravens just don't look the best. They will get their momentum. They will get their act together against the Texans because the Texans are worse. However, the Ravens really need to lock in against these better teams because they're losing to the good teams, and that's not good if you want to compete for a Super Bowl. Dolphins Panthers. This is a game that I am back and forth on. My prediction video showed the Dolphins. I made the score and all that before I learned about the injury. No, did I watch the Dolphins game? I kept track of the score. I didn't watch it because Broncos-Bengals were a better game to watch. Jets-Dolphins. Not very many people were watching that game. Unless you're a Jets or Dolphins fan. Which, if you were, especially if you're a Dolphins fan, sorry about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's out for the year. This badly hurts the Dolphins even more than they already are. The Panthers, they are very inconsistent. Games that they should win, they lose. Games that they should lose, they win. Or at least keep it close. They should have lost to the Patriots. They should have lost. They should have beaten. I thought they could beat the Patriots. But, no, they got blown out by New England. That was a bad pick by me, personally, last week. Yeah. Panthers, I'm not going to pick Carolina. I'm going to stick with my pick and picking Miami. However, I can see Carolina blowing out the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're good teams. They're just getting too banged up, and the Dolphins aren't even getting too banged up. It's just they're just not a good team, and their top players out. So that's not good. Next game, Raiders Colts. Oh, the Colts. You should be 4-0 right now. The Raiders, you're bad. Colts win. It doesn't matter. But the Colts, I have them still at number 5 in my power rankings. The Colts should have won. Okay? They had that game with the Rams. I'm not going to regurgitate some of the stuff what happened. There was a lot of touchdowns they got that came back. That was just stupid. If those touchdowns stood with even really one of those touchdowns stood, I mean, this game is in overtime and Colts still have a shot. Colts even got a fumble recovery. It's like 20-13. I'm thinking with 5 minutes left, I'm thinking Colts are gonna win this game. Rams, they're not that good. And I was right. They're going 4-0. Then Rams came back. It's crazy. Colts, you're going 4-1. All right, you're dominating the Raiders. The Raiders, I don't know what's going on. You're blowing it to the Bears. The Bears, they're 2-2. The Bears have not looked the best. Okay, they have not. And you're losing to them. You're allowing blocked field goals to happen. The Bears did get a blocked field goal against the Packers last year, but still. Or was that the... Anyway. But still. Raiders, you're done. I thought maybe you were good. And Ashton Jeanty, I've been saying... I haven't really been saying lately, but I did say at the beginning of the year I thought he was going to be a bust. He finally had a breakout game, and they still lost. So, yeah, this Raiders team is just bad. Colts win easy. Giants, Saints. Saints, you came close. They were close. They were close. They had the Bills on the ropes for a while. Then the Bills locked in and remembered, hey, they're 0-3, right? We should win that game easily. And they ultimately won by 12. Giants got a surprise win against the Chargers. Jackson Dart starts, and he leads them to a victory. Is he going to do the same against the Saints? Probably. Yes, Malik Neighbors is also out with a torn ACL. that I don't think really changes the outcome of this game. Saints are just a bad team. Saints might keep it close. They should keep it close, but Giants will ultimately win. Jackson Dart is looking really good, and I think he is, honestly, I think Giants win this game. Giants win easily. Maybe not easily, but they win. Cowboys, Jets. How did you do it? How did you do it? We're sitting here. The Cowboys are 1-2-1, and the Packers are lucky that they have a bye after that tie, because I'd be talking a lot about that game. Cowboys, good job. As an Eagles fan, I hate saying that, but good job. You impressed me. You went toe-to-toe with the Packers. The Packers, who are supposed to be Super Bowl contenders. The way they've been playing the last few weeks, I don't know if they are, but I did at the beginning. But after these last few weeks, after losing to the Browns and then tying with the Packers, I still think they'll make the playoffs. They're a playoff team, but Super Bowl contender. We need to see more from this Packers team. Cowboys, good job. Jerry Jones is probably going, we should have won that game. We had that game, and Micah Parsons did save the game for the Packers because the Cowboys were about to, Dak was just about to walk in, and then here comes Micah Parsons, come running in and just tackles him right before he even gets past the line of scrimmage. So, but Dak had a walk-in touchdown. That would have been game over at that point. Jets, you got beat badly by the Dolphins, and then you managed to come back. You did it. You managed to come back, and then you didn't come back. You almost did it. You had a shot, but you just couldn't quite do it. So, okay, you're 0-4. That's not good. Now you're playing the Cowboys, who look better and might be a sneaky team. Jets, sorry man, you're going 0-5. Sorry. Broncos, Eagles. This is a game that at the beginning of the year I'm thinking 3-1 versus 4-0. Did I predict the Eagles to go 4-0? No. I predicted them to lose to the Chiefs and then beat the Rams, Buccaneers, and Cowboys. So right now I'm thinking they're 3-1. I'm thinking by now they're going 3-1. Broncos, I'm predicting them to go 4-0. I'm predicting them to beat the Titans. I'm predicting them to beat the Colts. This is at the beginning of the year. I'm predicting them to beat the Chargers. I know I didn't predict them to beat the Chargers early on in Week 3, but this is what I predicted them to win at the beginning of the year. Then the Bengals. I predicted them to beat the Bengals, which they've won 2 of those 4 games. They're 2-2. We're 4-0. Eventually, you're going to find out why the Broncos are 2-2. Broncos, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You look good against the Bengals, but the Bengals aren't a good measuring stick because the Bengals are without Joe Burrow. They're awful. Jake Browning is awful. He had a few good years backing up for Joe Burrow, but he's done. He's so far 0-2 in his starts. We'll see. They're playing the Lions this week, which is even worse for the Bengals. But Broncos, you're gonna be a playoff team. You're not going to win You're not going to beat the Eagles, though. The Eagles, they're way too hot right now. We are way too hot as a team to lose to the 2-2 Broncos. Buccaneers, they came back, but we ultimately won. That second half was abysmal by us. I don't even know. Like, we're the defending Super Bowl champions. We're 4-0, but we can't even be consistent for 4 quarters. Maybe this will be the game we're consistent for 4 quarters. I don't know. We weren't very consistent at the beginning of the season last year anyway, and you can argue maybe it's a hangover. As the season goes on, we're going to get better. I think that might be the case, but if we're already going 4-0 and we're not even at full strength, then yeah, we're definitely making the NFC Championship game. We win. Eagles win easily. Broncos, they keep it somewhat close, but I think Eagles will still win that game. Titans, Cardinals. Titans, you suck. You're done. I had my faith in you last week, and you blew it. You didn't even score a point. You're done. I'm never picking you again unless it's against a team like the Saints or maybe the Raiders or something like that. Cardinals win. They look good. Their defense looked really good. Their defense was very, very good, especially towards the end of that game. And you can maybe argue that it's maybe because the offense in Seattle was getting a little bit more sloppier because they're getting tired. Yes, I think both are true. The Cardinals the Cardinals defense really kept it going and kept the Cardinals in it for them to make that comeback just to lose. But yeah, Cardinals, you're winning this game. Titans suck. They're done. Cardinals, you're going 3-2. Next game, best game of the week by far. All the other games are. This is the best game. Buccaneers, Seahawks. Tampa Bay is getting very hurt. They are. I'm still predicting the Buccaneers to win because they nearly won against the Eagles. Seattle, they were kind of inconsistent towards the end of the game. So Seattle might not be fully there yet. Tampa Bay, they are still looking pretty good despite losing pieces far left and right. They're still looking okay. Bucky Irving's now out. Mike Evans is out. So, I don't know. I'm still picking the Buccaneers here. However, I can see Seattle coming back and winning this game. If they do, then they're for sure winning the division, especially if the Rams blow it to the 49ers. Seahawks are for sure winning the division if those two things happen, especially if they cremate the Buccaneers. But if they cremate them, they're going to blame it on injuries because they are very banged up. A fully healthy Buccaneers team should beat a fully healthy Seahawks team, at least right now. That might not be true, but unfortunately we won't get to know that information until maybe next season. Next game, Lions-Bengals. Lions win easily. Bengals, they're done. Jake Browning is trash. He's garbage. And I'm not even going to say, oh, he played against the Vikings and the Broncos. No, he sucks. He's awful. The Bengals have put up 13 points in the last 2 weeks on offense. Defense, they've allowed 68 points. Lions are running all over the Bengals. Bengals defense is crushing the Bengals offense. It's over. Lions win. Bengals season is done. Joe Burrow is out until probably November or December. It's over. Lions win this game easily. Commanders, Chargers. You didn't even blow it. I would say what the Chargers did was they overlooked the Giants. And honestly, if you were preparing for a team like the Commanders, who you would think are okay, which they're kind of, I don't know, with the Commanders, I would definitely overlook the Giants looking at the Commanders. I would understand that. I would. So I'm not going to hold it against the Chargers. It's one loss. It's one not even bad loss because they came back and they almost won. So it wasn't like they got blown out of the water by the Giants. But even if they did, I mean, it's one loss. I think they're going to be just fine. However, with this loss, this leads to the Chiefs and the Chiefs winning. This means the Chiefs are now one game behind them. They have that tiebreaker right now because they've beaten the Chiefs, but they're gonna need to stay at least a couple games ahead if they want to win the division. The Chiefs are starting to get hot. Yeah, Commanders, they're gonna lose this game. Chargers, they have to win this game, in my opinion, because if the Chiefs win, and the Chargers lose, then they're tied. Yes, Chargers still have the lead in the division. However, they're tied, and it just takes one more game at that point. I can see that, but I can also see the Chargers charging it, and that would be kind of hilarious. However, I just want someone new to win that division. Commanders, you're about as good as I thought you were going to be. Alright, this season, at the beginning, I thought you were going to be great. After looking at you play against the Giants, I knew you weren't going to be that great. Commanders, you blew it again. You got into a bad one with the Falcons. I predicted that game right. That was one of the few big upsets that I predicted right. I think that was like the only upset I predicted right, unless you want to count the Seahawks Cardinals, but that wasn't really an upset. Commanders, you're going to lose this game. Chargers are going to win because they have to. Patriots, Bills. Now, a lot of people are thinking, no, Bills are going to dominate the Patriots. Patriots aren't a bad team. You got to give them at least some credit. They're going to keep this game close. This being a Sunday Night Football game, I don't know what. This should really be an 11 o'clock game. This really isn't a Sunday Night Football game. I would much rather see Buccaneers, Seahawks, or Broncos, Eagles than Patriots, Bills. Like, this is not a good game at all. However, I think New England, because it's a divisional game, Dolphins showed that division games do matter ultimately with the score. I think New England will keep it close, but I still think Bills are going to win. Bills win. Bills go 5-0. Both undefeated teams remain undefeated. Patriots go 2-3. But New England have got some bright spots. So now, the Monday Night Football game, which is actually not a bad game. You have the Chiefs against the Jaguars. The Jaguars! I didn't know how good you were going to be, but, well, you beat up 49ers, so that's something. The Chiefs, they dominated the Ravens. Chiefs are getting hot. They're going to continue to get hot. The Jaguars, I think, are going to be an okay team. But the Chiefs are going to win. They're getting way too hot to lose this game right now. They've now gotten 2 straight wins. The game against the Giants was kind of and then you have the domination fest. They played against the Ravens. So if Jaguars go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, that's a sign the Jaguars are actually a pretty good team. However, I don't think that's going to happen. Chiefs win. Chiefs probably will dominate. Jaguars, I don't think, are that good. Jaguars really, in my opinion, are the definition of a mid-team. They were able to beat up 49ers. They beat the bad Texans. And they lost to the Bengals without Joe Burrow, but kind of with Joe Burrow. And then they beat the most impressive win they have had. Week 1, they dominated the Panthers. The most impressive game was the Panthers, in my opinion, because they barely beat the Texans. No, actually, the most impressive win was the 49ers, but the 49ers did almost come back on that one, so almost not a good sign if you're the Jaguars. However, the Chiefs, they're still going to win. Jaguars are not that good of a team. So, anyway, those are my Week 5 predictions. And yeah, wow, it's only been like 24 minutes. That's surprising. Usually I'm up here until like an hour almost. But anyway, kept it under 30 minutes this week. We'll see if we keep it up next week. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Yeah, I have 2 other channels. Southwest Gamer and Legos Models. I do like Retro Bowl, Hoopland, Madden games on Southwest Gamer, and Legos on Legos Models. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that, links will be in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Oops.